Governments will never save the people. They exist to exploit and destroy the people. There is but one force that can save the people, and that is the people themselves.
Anarchism, a century ago, the terrifying threat to world order.
I suppose the standard image of the anarchist is somebody with a floppy hat, a large cloak, and either a violin case or a smoking bomb hidden behind a cape. You know, it's a musical caricature, but that's not what anarchism is.
Who's an anarchist? Well, you know, women seeking women's rights, working people seeking workers' rights. I think it's an unquenchable spirit.
For a few brief months in Catalonia 1936, history's only anarchist experiment flourished.
Esa revolución fue completamente diferente de las otras, porque nació de abajo, del pueblo.
And it was a woman from the far side of Europe who reported its rise and its final defeat to the world.
English-speaking workers, why are you sleeping while your Spanish brothers and sisters are being murdered? Where are your traditions? Speak. Act.
Ethel MacDonald was born in Bells Hill, west of Scotland, in 1910, the free-spirited daughter of a large working-class family.
A laird, a boss, a rich man, a thief, a piper, a drummer, a silly little thief. When I was young, I made a 10. When I was 12, I ran away. When I was 3...
1914. The Great War begins, killing 8 million men, women and children. 1917. Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. 1918. Women in Britain win the right to vote, but only for those over 30.
All efforts at compromise between the Trade Union Council and the government regarding the position in the coal fields have failed.
1926. General strike across Britain. 1927. 20,000 stormtroopers march at the German Nazi Congress in Nuremberg. 1929. Stock market crash in the United States triggers the Great Depression. 1931. The Spanish Republic is declared. King Alfonso leaves Spain.
Barcelona, every town and hamlet fills the streets in one vast, delirious demonstration of delight to mark the birth of the Republic and their newly won...
When I was 8 out 2nd Street. When I was 9, I could write all right.
When I was 10, they gave me a pen.
When I was young, I made a 10. When I was 12, I ran away. When I was 3,
This is the story of an extraordinary woman caught up in extraordinary times in a distant part of Europe where revolution was moving fast.
Spain is the place where the future of the world is being determined. It's not just another little local difficulty. Spain was the place where fascism and democracy would finally meet face to face.
At the age of 19, Ethel was seeking work. A star pupil at school, she, like most girls in the 1920s, left without qualifications. In the classroom, she was even more interested in politics than her lessons, joining the youth movement of the International Labour Party. Ethel was hardly alone in looking for a job. The Great Depression had Scotland and most of the developed world in its grip. British unemployment in 1933 exceeded 3 million. The women in Ethel's early life would have cooked and cleaned all day long for families of up to 10 children. Many took part-time work to eke out their men folks' paltry wages, cooking and cleaning again for the families of the rich. Penniless and unemployed, Ethel was determined to escape that fate, even walking 70 miles in the hope of a job.
Early in 1933, the Labour Exchange sent me after a job as a waitress at Dumfries. When I arrived, I found the whole thing was a fake, and I had to hitchhike back to Glasgow. Hi, you're going to Glasgow? Great.
This wasn't the first time Ethel had been enraged by management and bureaucracy. In every job she had found, she quickly challenged conditions and payment. Back in Glasgow, she went immediately to an advice centre run by well-known political campaigner Guy Aldred.
You can't type, I suppose?
Can't be that hard.
Guy Aldred was a very influential figure, I think. He was the editor of the anarchist newspaper Freedom. He was somebody who, as a young man, had spent a little time with a whole range of different organisations until he settled and became involved with the anarchist movement.
Ethel and Guy Aldred clicked. He was dubbed by his supporters the guy they all dread for his fearless attacks on the state and employers.
Perhaps we should start with my case.
Ethel discovered anarchism and her political home for the next 30 years. Guy assembled a small team of activists in his advice centre.
Good morning.
They often gave their services free of charge to the poor and distressed. As a result, they were poorer than those they helped. Guy Aldred, the Knickerbocker rebel, gave impassioned speeches on Glasgow Green, in law courts, and on every street corner defending the rights of the working man. He learned his trade as political speaker and provocateur in the turbulent London politics of the 1910s and 20s, adding his voice to socialists and communists in the public arena.
Hello, citizens, men and women. I am taking advantage of this event to draw your attention.
Finding an affinity with Glasgow's radical working class, Aldred had no faith in Parliament representing the interests of the poor.
The issue then was free speech.
The top of every radical's agenda was what to do about the rapid rise of right-wing movements throughout Europe.
In 1922, the Black Shirts marched on Rome. King Victor Emmanuel looked on, while the fascists seized control of all Italy.
Mussolini had become Europe's first totalitarian dictator in 1926, outlawing other political parties.
In the whirlpool of Europe's politics, the scum was coming to the top. Even here, the first germs of the disease.
In Britain, Oswald Mosley organised the British Union of Fascists.
From the beer cellars of Munich came a new voice. A leader was in search of a people, and a people was in search of a leader.
In Germany, Hitler became Chancellor in 1936, immediately setting about rearming the country and creating the SS.